The IV process begins with a planning meeting at the start of the course to confirm what and who is being internally verified and when this will take place. This is recorded on page 1 of the internal verification record. The IV is then required to undertake 2 activities. Firstly, an observation of the tutor assessor conducting delivery and assessment of the qualification, and secondly, a review of the assessment decisions for a sample of learners or delegates against set tasks or units. On concluding both of these activities, the IV should complete page 2 of the internal verification record and provide their feedback to the tutor assessor. If actions are identified by the IV that the tutor assessor is required to carry out, these must be recorded and monitored on the internal verification action plan. Internal verification records are specific for each qualification, so please ensure that you use the correct version for the qualification being delivered. Internal verification records can be downloaded from within the online tutor resources. Here you can see a blank internal verification record for the Level 1 qualification in Sports Leadership, with page 1 being the plan and page 2 the report on what has been seen and observed by the IV. Now let's take a look at how the internal verification record should be completed, using a Level 1 qualification in Sports Leadership example. Page 1 should be completed at the very start of the course with a planning meeting between the IV and tutor assessor. The top of the form indicate what tasks or unit must be verified by the IV. These have been pre-selected by Sports Leaders UK. For Level 1 courses with a start date between September 2018 and August 2019, the IV will verify tasks 1.1 and 2.1. The tasks rotate for each academic year. The centre name and number, along with the IV and tutor assessor name, are then recorded in the next section. This is followed by the unique course number, which is allocated when the course is approved and can be found from the centre's online LEAP account. The learner names being sampled by the IV should be listed using the matrix on the right to determine the sample size. In this example, the course has 20 learners, so 4 have been selected as a sample. The IV is responsible for selecting the learners or delegates by whichever method they determine, and this should not be influenced by the tutor assessor. The 2 IV activity dates should then be arranged, the first to observe the tutor assessor undertaking delivery and assessment, and the second to review the assessment decisions of the tutor assessor for the sampled learners or delegates. Please note that the observation does not necessarily have to take place whilst the sampled tasks are being completed. The activity is designed to take a general view on how the tutor assessor performs their role. Once this has been agreed, it should be signed and dated by both the IV and the tutor assessor. Upon completing both activities, the IV should answer yes or no to the 8 questions listed and must provide examples of what they observed or discussed in order to tick that box. The IV is required to give a summary of the 2 activities they undertook and confirm that the assessment decisions for the verified tasks or units are fair and accurate. Any feedback, recommendations and actions should be recorded and discussed with the tutor assessor before being signed and dated. If actions are given by the internal verifier, these must be recorded and monitored on the internal verification action plan. Once fully completed, the internal verification record and action plan, if used, should be filed in the course evidence folder alongside the other documentation detailed on the quality assurance checklist and retained securely by the Centre Course Manager for a period of 3 years. The internal verification records for all other qualifications indicate at the top of the form which tasks or unit must be verified in each academic year. Other than this, the forms are identical to the Level 1 example shown and should be completed in the same way.